Planning a trip to Scotland, don't let a few simple mistakes spoil it. Today, Doug and I reveal the 15 pitfalls travellers often make and how you can avoid them.
Welcome to the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is the founder of the UK Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy shares destination guides, travel tips and itinerary ideas, as well as interviews with a variety of guests who share their knowledge and experience of UK travel to help you plan your perfect UK vacation. Join us as we explore the UK from cosmopolitan cities to quaint villages, from historic castles to beautiful islands, and from the picturesque countryside to seaside towns.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Now, I'm with Doug, and he's back again to share more travel tips with you.
Hello there.
So, following on from our popular episodes about the mistakes first-time visitors make when applying a UK road trip or travelling by train or visiting London, we thought we'd continue that series with a focus on Scotland. Now, we know, don't we?
We do.
From our own travels, how important it is to be prepared and avoid often easy to make mistakes that can leave you feeling a bit frustrated or rushed or feeling that you've missed out on some of the best experiences. Yeah. So in this episode, Doug and I are going to share 15 mistakes visitors often make when planning a trip to Scotland. But of course, we're going to also give you information about how to avoid those mistakes, aren't we?
We certainly are. I mean, a lot of the mistakes we're going to come across that we've had that as feedback from people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, whether you're planning your first Scottish adventure or you're heading back for another visit, hopefully this episode will give you practical tips, insider insights and plenty of ideas to help you get the most of your time in this amazing part of the UK. We both love Scotland, don't we?
We really do, yes.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, if you're interested in destinations beyond the UK, do head over to our Global Travel Planning Podcast, where we share tips, itineraries and more for many destinations around the world. Now, if there is a destination or topic you'd specifically like us to cover in a future episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast, do let us know via SpeakPipe, because we love hearing from you.
We certainly do. We love the comments and the feedback.
Yeah, we do. It's really great. And we do get back to most people when they leave us a message, don't we? Pretty
we do.
Quickly.
Thank you for people who go to the trouble of sharing their feedback.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. We do enjoy that. And then obviously, finally, I do want to say a big thank you to those of you who support us every month by sponsoring the podcast. It really does mean the world to us, and it helps to continue for us to bring these new episodes to you every week. But yeah, I just want to give a little bit, I guess, of background about our connection with Scotland. So I grew up not far from the Scottish border. My maiden name is McConaughey, so I do have a close ancestry from Scotland, actually from the Calendar region. That's where my dad's family came from. And my grandmothers were Campbell, so I have a strong connection with Scotland. And actually, one of my mum's closest friends lived in Edinburgh when I was growing up, so we used to spend a lot of time driving up to spend weekends or holidays up in that area. It was just that little bit too far for me at that age, and I always used to get car sick. So I always knew we were approaching Edinburgh, because usually by that point I was about to throw up.
There's a good advert.
And of course, since then I've been visiting Scotland and exploring Scotland many times before we got married 20 years ago. And you've also got a connection as well, haven't you?
Well, I worked in Scotland on and off during my railway days and travelled extensively all around Scotland. I've got family not far from Calendar, and so we do have a connection.
We're not related.
We're not. Don't think so. I may or may not have family connections to Scotland, but I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so should we go through kind of, I guess, in themed order? That's probably going to make sense.
That's a good idea.
I thought we'd start with the timing and seasonal planning mistakes that are easy to make, to be honest. So think about timing and what season you visit Scotland, because it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, most definitely so. You can get extreme of any weather in Scotland.
Yes, we're going to talk about
sometimes in the same day.
Yes, let's cover the weather a little bit later, I think. Let's talk about popular events, actually, because we're recording this in August. This is going to go out at the beginning of, end of September. But so we've got the Fringe Festival, which is apparently the world's largest performance arts festival. And there's also the tattoo.
The Fringe Festival, I understand, does date back to around 1947-ish.
Yeah, so it's been going on for quite a long time.
Quite a while.
And it has got a worldwide reputation, and
Yes.
it ends up with lots and lots of people. I guess the if you're not going for the Fringe, what you need to know is that there'll be lots and lots of people in Edinburgh who are.
It is, and the accommodation gets booked up well in advance.
Yeah, and it's more expensive. So
more
you've got to. I guess it's what we're trying to say is it's very, very expensive. Accommodation gets booked up way, way in advance, and it's incredibly busy.
Yeah.
Incredibly busy in August. The tattoo is also on in August as well. Now that's an annual series of military tattoos, which is held in front of Edinburgh Castle, kind of in the square in front of the castle. And we've been there when they've been putting the infrastructure up, haven't we?
We have. We've seen them putting the grandstands up, and and it gets, when you actually watch it, the tattoo on TV, you cannot believe where the castle is and how small the square is and how huge it looks on the TV.
Yeah, and how many people will fit into it as well.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Now, it is, again, also very, very popular, and that also gets booked up. So if you are planning to visit during August, be aware that if you have no interest in getting the tattoo, if you have no interest in getting the Fringe, I would say recommend avoiding staying in Edinburgh in August. That would be my...
It's not just accommodation. Restaurants and cafes are also very, very busy.
Yeah. So the other time of year that I also say to avoid, I know we're kind of focusing on Edinburgh here at the minute, but it's the obvious one really, is visiting during Hogmanay, which is a bit of a sore topic for me.
Well, yes, we've had a bit of disappointment there, haven't we, ourselves?
Yeah, so do you want to explain what Hogmanay is?
Hogmanay is the New Year's celebrations, which is incredibly popular in Scotland, as it was once outlawed in Scotland. So Hogmanay it's a big thing to a Scots person. It really is. And it's at Hogmanay when they're singing Auld Lang Syne, which you know what it translates as?
When time's passed, in time's past.
Yeah.
And we were there last year hoping for the first time to go to Hogmanay.
Yeah, neither of us have been before.
And what happened?
The weather intervened.
This is Scotland we're talking about, yes.
It was called off.
It ended up for I don't know, the first time in I don't know how many years, or if ever, I'm sure. It was actually called off because there was a massive storm forecast for that evening.
Yeah.
It was awful. So, that was very, very disappointing. So it's still on our list.
It is. And the weather also impacted some of my plans, which I will reveal later.
Yeah, we'll keep mentioning about the weather, so we know that's going to be a whole topic we're going to talk about. Another thing, I guess, to talk about if you're visiting, so that's kind of covered thinking about the time of year in terms of what festivals, what popular events are going on. But I'm going to talk a little bit about midges. You can't talk about Scotland in summer without mentioning midges.
Midges have many names, most of it unrepeatable.
It's true. Right, so what are they? They're very small biting flies. Apparently it's on the female ones that bite. Don't say anything.
Okay.
But they are active primarily from late May to September. We didn't see any in Skye last year.
Not last year. No, we were lucky.
Yeah, we were very lucky. And they really like it when it's damp and it's still. And they swarm and they bite. So you will probably, if you do a search online, you will no doubt see people covered in them. They're smaller than flies, they're smaller than mosquitoes. They are tiny and they swarm. Like, I've seen people covered on their arms in them. They're horrible.
I've experienced them in the past, but not very nice.
No. So if there's a slight breeze, you don't find them. But honestly, you can't predict whether it's going to be breezy or whether it's going to be still.
Yeah. Depends where you're travelling as well, but on the heather, popular areas, you will experience them if the conditions are right.
Yeah, I think it's about the conditions being right. So basically, I'm just saying that if you are going to visit June, July, August in particular, be very aware that it's midgie season and you need to get something to put on to keep the midges away. Because honestly, you don't want to get bitten by these things.
No, not very nice.
So that's just something I want to mention. And the next one we want to talk about is visiting in winter. Planning a trip to London, if you're looking for tours that are well organised, full of interesting stories and a pleasure to take part in, I can't recommend Walks and Devour tours enough. I've done several myself, from famous landmarks to amazing food tours, and every single one has been a real highlight. Their guides are great storytellers who make the city feel alive. The team really cares about the details and puts a lot of thought into making each experience feel special, comfortable, and full of those "I'm so glad I did this" moments. You can find all my favourite tours at uktravelplanning.com/best London tours.
Yes, this can present a few problems to some people, not everybody. Some people prefer that time of year to travel, but you have to be prepared for things being closed. I don't mean just touristy places to visit, but some of the areas you could go to, there's lots of things closed.
Yeah, that's it. It's low season. It's dark for start off because the short daylight hours.
Yep.
The weather is changeable and can be quite extreme. Obviously, the further north you go, the darker it gets, the colder it gets, the more unpredictable. I mean, the weather's pretty unpredictable anyway, but you may get snow, you may not get snow. We've actually travelled in January to Glencoe, and there was a lot of snow, a lot of ice around. You can also get fog. I mean, actually, we were there in September last year. We're not even talking in winter, spring, and there was a lot of fog and mist on Skye. So you've got to consider this if you're planning to visit during those winter months. So you're going to be able to do less. You're going to be able to drive less. You need to be very careful when it comes to considering driving, especially.
Road conditions.
And it's also a time of year when there can be more storms. So you got caught out, didn't you, this year?
Yes, I did. Anybody who follows me on our Train Tips group, they will know that I have big plans for my rail adventure in January to go from Edinburgh to Inverness via Aberdeen, the East Coast, and then back down the Highlands main line. That plan was changed because I was halfway up to Inverness and the notice came out that all trains were being cancelled the following day because of the storms.
Yeah, massive storms.
So luckily, I have vast experience in this, and I made lots and lots of plans and stopped over in Inverness and looked at different ways to get back.
Yeah, but it was a bit tricky. And also, I remember a few years ago, we were wanting to get the Caledonian Sleeper, and I think there'd been a massive storm, and the line was blocked.
Yes, it was, yeah.
So basically, if you're planning around the kind of winter months, I'm talking December, January, February, even in March, it can be tricky because of storms, because of dark weather, because of potential snow.
Yeah.
So you really need to be very careful if you're planning to visit at that time of year.
It is, and that's why we always recommend on consults, and when we offer advice, is to build in as much flexibility in your itinerary as time budget allows.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do one night, that kind of itinerary moving around a lot, because you just don't know if you're actually going to be able to.
Yeah.
So that's worth considering.
Yeah.
Right, so the next theme of these mistakes that often people make is with their itinerary and destination choices. Once you've got your timing sorted, you really need to think about where you choose to go, or sometimes where you don't go, because that's the other thing. So I guess, and I know I've talked about Edinburgh a lot already, but one mistake we see, and we understand if you've got limited time that you may have to choose just one destination, and the obvious one is going to be Edinburgh. We understand that. But there is so much more to Scotland.
There really is. I mean, Glasgow itself, it's not far away from Edinburgh. I mean, you're talking 15 minutes of the fastest train between the cities. Glasgow has a lot to offer.
Yeah, Glasgow's a fascinating city to explore. We actually have a one-day itinerary on the website for Glasgow, but going up to the Highlands, there's other regions as well that you can go and explore. And even if you want to go to Edinburgh and you've got a few days in Edinburgh, do try to fit in either a day tour or trip by train.
That's right. On our website, we have my train itineraries as well, circular trips as well. So, Perth, I love visiting. Aberdeen, I've visited many times. Stirling, fantastic place to visit. Inverness, a particular favourite.
Yeah.
All these cities have their own identity and their own unique place in Scottish history as well. So definitely worth a visit.
Yeah, well, you've got far north Scotland, you've got the border region. There's just so much to Scotland, honestly. Which is, I'm going to mention this because often we get asked about visiting Scotland and including the Republic of Ireland as well. So and again, I understand if you've only got a couple of weeks holiday, but ideally, if you can, devote one trip to Scotland and one trip to the Republic of Ireland, because these are two countries. I mean, the Republic of Ireland is obviously Republic of Ireland. It's nothing to do with the UK. It's not in the UK. Whereas Scotland, it's its own country in itself, and there's lots and lots to see in Scotland.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots to see in the Republic of Ireland. Now, if you absolutely must, there are ways to get across, and we've done that we've actually done this ourselves by coach and ferry, haven't we?
Most definitely. So, I was just going to say, don't forget Northern Ireland in this equation as well, because that is also a fantastic place to visit. The Highland coaches I've done several times between Glasgow and Belfast, and it is easy.
Yeah, very, very easy.
It is so straightforward.
And if you really want to go, if you don't want to go to Northern Ireland, but you want to go to the Republic of Ireland, then you can fly very easily from Edinburgh as well. But you can get the bus over, coach over, ferry over, and then get the train to Dublin.
You can always take the train from Belfast down to Dublin.
Which we did last year.
We have done that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just want to encourage you really to kind of try to not cram too much in, which I will mention later. But it's just that there is such a lot of beautiful places to visit in Scotland.
Oh, it's just stunning.
Every time we go, we can spend weeks and weeks and weeks there, and I still want to spend more and more time there to see even more.
I often ask myself which has the nicest scenery, Wales or Scotland, and I have to say both of you win for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say Scotland, so Welsh listeners not going to be happy with me.
No, don't forget Wales, fantastic place.
I think it's our Scottish heritage there.
Probably so, yeah.
Now, the other one is I'm going to mention as well, the other mistake we see make is that often people will just visit the Isle of Skye. Now, we understand why, and we also have visited Skye numerous times.
We have. I can see the draw to the island. It's a big island as well.
It's beautiful, but unfortunately it's becoming over-touristed.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
It's incredibly busy. Parking is a nightmare. Driving can become a nightmare. There's just a lot of cars, a lot of camper vans on the roads.
And the roads themselves are, in all honesty, in a pretty poor state.
Yeah, they weren't great when we were there last September. The weather had been quite rough over the summer,
right.
A lot of rain, so there was a lot of potholes. You have to be very careful.
Yeah.
So if you can, and I understand if you want to visit Skye, I really do, because it is beautiful, but do consider some of the other islands that Scotland has to offer, and there are plenty of them. In fact, we've got a guide to all of the islands. Yeah. So our favourite, I guess, we loved the Orkney Islands, didn't we?
We really did, because it was our first visit there, so it was a novelty factor as well, but we thoroughly enjoyed it. There's only one caveat I have with all the islands, other than Skye, is I have to take a boat.
Yeah, so Doug gets seasick. So
very seasick.
That has kind of impacted. So I've been to Mull and Iona, and Steffa, you didn't do that trip.
No, I didn't do it.
We are hoping, and we have.
I waved to you though.
You did wave to me as I went. We haven't been to, so I can say, look, we have visited Scotland many times, but we haven't been everywhere. So, and I can't imagine even someone who lives in Scotland could say that. We haven't been to Lewis and Harris, and that is an island I really want to go to. So we are going to head there May next year, aren't we?
We are, as long as the water is extremely still.
That's always the thing. When I said to Doug we're going to go to an island, I get the look. I always get the look, and it's like, oh, really? And I'm like, well, yeah. So I guess that's an advantage with Skye. Yes, you can take the ferry, which we've done multiple times, but there is a bridge.
There is a bridge,
which does make it easier. Okay, so shall we move on to the next lot of topics, which is a practical side of planning, because the way you get around, what you pack, and how far you try to travel can really kind of shape your trip. So I think the first thing we're talking about was underestimating distances and drive times and putting too much in a day.
Certainly so. I mean, particularly something like the North Coast 500, which is a fantastic driving route around Scotland. There's such a lot to see, and trying to do it too fast, I think, is one pitfall a lot of people can fall into. And
I think we did that as well. I'm going to put our hands up and say we did.
We probably did. It's all one of these things that works better the second time you do it. I think you learn from your own mistakes sometimes. And we did, didn't we?
Yeah, or we learn from our mistakes and we share them with everybody so that they don't have to make the same mistake.
That's the way it works. I mean, we've already mentioned the weather. The weather can play a part in that as well. And it can slow you down quite dramatically. Yeah,
but also the roads, if you think like the far north of Scotland, the kind of single lanes, and we were there in May and there were lambs in the road, and so you don't get anywhere fast. There's a lot of camper vans. It's quite a busy road. Yeah. And in fact, busy roads, I should say. What is worth listening to is we did a really good podcast episode with Robert from North Coast Explorer Tours, and in that podcast he shares tips for driving in far north Scotland. It was an excellent, really good. I've had so much feedback about how great that episode was and helpful. We also recommend Trip Yarmo as well if you're driving in Scotland, because their driving guides are fabulous. But I think it's just underestimating the distance and how much time. And I know, we live in Australia a lot of the time, and we know a lot of you live in America, and you're quite happy to do a lot of driving. But I think it's just the scenery is beautiful, so give yourself the time to enjoy it.
Yeah, take it in. That's right.
Because it really is just fabulous. It really is beautiful. You want to be able to pull over and enjoy it and take the photos and just sit and, I don't know, just
take it in.
Just take it in.
Take it all in. Yeah.
So honestly, would recommend that, and try not to put too much in a day, but actually pace yourself and enjoy it.
Yeah.
The second one is something that we get all the time. Now, we understand that there's a lot of people who like to kind of just go along and go with the flow and make the trip up as they go. Yeah. You just can't do that.
No, I think those days of travel, particularly on these popular areas, are past.
Well, yeah, particularly at certain times of year. I'm going to say, I would mention this for parts of England as well, like Cornwall and other parts of England at certain times of year become extremely busy and extremely popular. Now, the place I'm going to mention is, I'm going to actually mention Skye, because we hear this all the time. People, we're just going to drive and we'll get accommodation. You won't find accommodation on Skye.
No, you won't, and you won't find somewhere to have dinner, probably.
No, you've got to book months and months and months and months in advance for Skye. You need to book where you're going to eat as well.
And there's one thing I will point out as well. If you're travelling on sort of shoulder seasons and winter months, a lot of the people on the accommodation, they're on holiday themselves. So your choice of places to stop and to eat are more limited.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So I think be really careful if you're going to, like the North Coast 500, again, very, very popular route. Yeah. Book accommodation, book your restaurants, book your ferries, because you need to book ferries when they become available as well, especially at popular times of year. And you've got to think, some of those ferries to the islands, that's the only way for the people on the islands to get onto the mainland as well. Yeah. So, it becomes extremely popular.
They live their life, and they also have to bulk up the ferries slots as well.
Yeah, so, highly recommend it, which obviously Skye, you can drive over. You don't have to get a ferry. We've done the ferry, as I've mentioned before, but still, and I know when we've booked accommodation in Skye, for example, we've always had it back saying, have you booked your restaurants? These are potential places that you can eat, to go to. So it's worth, considering those sorts of things. And I know that North Coast 500, and when we've done other driving trips around Scotland, we've booked accommodation. Now, interestingly, when you got caught out in Inverness, you were lucky to even get accommodation.
I really was, yes. I mean, I was told the place I stayed at, which was a very, very nice place, if I'd arrived 2 hours later, I would not have got that place. And because, continuing with that story, it was 2 nights I had to stay. It wasn't just a one night, because the blanket stoppage of trains because of the storm extended to a second day. So I was very, very fortunate I could book a second night. Yeah, and it was a restaurant as well, which made it easier.
Yeah, that did make it easy, and that's a good tip, because if you're going to book a B&B, you'll get breakfast, so you've already got your breakfast sorted, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's worth considering and thinking about. Another thing, which are close to Doug's heart as well here, is just not assuming that driving is the only way to get around Scotland, because you can take some trains.
You can take some lovely train journeys in Scotland. The West Highland main line is repeatedly named as one of the most scenic railways in the world, and that is definitely true. I like the circular trips as well, up the East Coast, and then up the via Aberdeen and Perth, and then come back down the Highland main line, which I've done many, many times. And that's not forgetting also the Borders railway lines as well. Definitely worth a visit. Really, really worth a visit.
Yeah, and also, like, if you're based in somewhere like Edinburgh, we recommend, if you're in Edinburgh, not to have a car. You don't need a car, and only pick your car up when you actually leave in Edinburgh, because we've come across this many times where people have got cars, they're doing a road trip, and they don't have accommodation in Edinburgh that actually has parking, and that is a huge issue.
Big issue.
So actually, if you're based in Edinburgh and you want to take some day trips, there's so many great ones by train.
Yeah, that's it, and we've got most of them listed on our website as well. And these are all tried and tested dozens and dozens of times by me.
And some YouTube videos as well.
Oh, yes, we've got a YouTube video on there as well.
With more to come, so yeah.
With a lot more to come.
Yeah, lots more to come, so that'll be worth looking at for...
including the one which I'm putting together now about my experience when the weather came and challenged my my resolve. But, I went with it, I enjoyed it and just embraced it.
Yes, and that was your trip up to Inverness, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Earlier on this year. But again, you should get caught out by the weather.
Yeah, it can happen.
Now, talking about the weather, what else you can get caught out with is not, if you don't pack layers, or honestly, even if you're going in the summer months, you may need warm clothes. And especially the further north you go, again, because the weather is unpredictable. So we were in Orkney in May, and it was the coldest it had been for something like 20 years. I think with the wind chill, it was minus 630,000 degrees. It felt like it.
Even I had to take my shorts off and put some trousers on.
It was, well, I ended up in a shop buying a massive, great big furry hat with, that went over my ears. It was so cold. It was freezing. We've been in Edinburgh when we've arrived, and then we've got sunburnt, and the next day, so summer clothes, and then the next day I'm absolutely covered with jumper, long trousers, socks on, boots on, jumper, then a raincoat, and then a hat, because it's gone so cold.
That's it. The day before I was climbing up Arthur's Seat in shorts and t-shirt.
That's it. So it's unpredictable. So really, and I know we say this all the time, layers are important, but really layers are incredibly important. Definitely. And I always have my rain jacket.
Yes.
Always have my rain jacket when I'm in the UK, but definitely for Scotland.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so we're on the home straight, guys. So we're going to talk about the cultural side of things, the little slip-ups that can just trip you up a bit and are easy to avoid really before you go, and just to help you out, right? And so the first one is really, don't call Scottish people English, whatever you do. They're not English. They're a proud nation with their own identity. So really don't want to be calling a Scottish person English, really, because they won't like it. No. They are Scottish. We have got Welsh, English, Scottish, Northern Irish that make up the UK. Yeah. So it's important to understand that and to respect that, and just
everyone
be aware.
has their own identity.
Yeah, absolutely, and very proud of it. So that is really it's a very easy thing, just important to know. The other one is I just want to put this in here because we do get questions about this. Is that yes, Scotland does have its own banknotes. So the coins are exactly the same as the English versions, and both coins and banknotes have the same denominations. However, Scottish banknotes look different as they have different features and pictures. But as in England, you can't use paper notes. They're no longer legal tender. So, in theory, both Bank of England and Scottish banknotes are accepted across the UK. There should be, it states pounds sterling on them. But in practice, some shops and retailers in England aren't keen on accepting Scottish notes. It's less of an issue in places close to the border, like where I'm from, in Northumberland, or in major tourist centres. But honestly, if you do have any Scottish cash, I would get rid of it before you leave Scotland. But like everywhere in the UK these days, using contactless is very common.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I hardly ever use any cash at all. No. But I just wanted to put that out there because I know that is a question that we've had. Is like, often we get asked what is the currency in the UK. So it's pound sterling, same as Scotland. They just have different looking notes.
That's right.
The other one, I'm going to talk, this is whiskey. This one's for you, Doug.
Well, it used to be in my drinking days, yes, I did. I was quite partial to a little Glenmorangie. Yes. Yeah,
and this is just a spelling one, and it's just really that there's a difference between how it's the spelling.
Yeah. One's with an E and one's without.
So which is which?
So the Scottish whiskey is without an E, and the Irish whiskey is generally with an E.
Aha, okay. So I just wanted to put that one in.
I'm not going to say that is a blanket across the board, and, there's no exceptions, because somebody will probably come and tell me that there is another exception, but my understanding is that is exactly as it is.
So whiskey without an E is Scottish?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Now, another thing we're going to just mention is just mispronouncing some of the place names. And look, hands up, we all do it. We do it as well. There's some places, there's always a story I always tell about I mispronounced somewhere in Northumberland that made my mum laugh her head off. And I'm from Northumberland, so there you go. But just two common mistakes that we hear of pronunciations. And I'm going to say we can't pronounce them.
I'm not Scottish.
No?
So when I worked up in Scotland, how many times it was, I won't say I was laughed at because I was the boss, but but a few raised eyebrows.
Well, we can't say it with a Scottish brogue. That's exactly the difference. Exactly. So, but it is Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
Yes.
Right? So Edinburgh, I guess what we're trying to say is it's not Edinburgh. Okay, yes. We hear that a lot. We see it spelt without the H. And I'm sure there's plenty of Scottish people that'll laugh at my pronunciation as well.
Oh, most definitely.
But I'm trying. But it's Edinburgh, not Edinburgh. That's a basic thing. I just think if you're trying it, that's fine. Edinburgh.
Yeah, I think Edinburgh comes up when people from America have it as predictive text, and I think it just probably changes it to Edinburgh because I understand it is a place in Texas, I think.
Ah, okay. And it's actually said Edinburgh.
I pretty much think it's
Huh.
so, yes.
And the other one is actually Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow, yeah. It's not
So-
Glasgow.
Yeah, we often hear Glasgow, and it's not as Glasgow. So just think go. In fact, it's not even that because if I was how you pronounce it, Doug? If I was Scottish,
Glasgow or Glasgow.
Glasgow. That's it, Glasgow. Yeah. So just so
Apologies for any Scottish people listening.
I know
for
we're going to apologise.
terrible
Yeah,
dialect.
we're apologising for this, but we just want to say Edinburgh and Glasgow. There you go. You'll be fine.
That sounds very posh. That
No, well, I was going to say. Otherwise, I can just imagine now all these visitors going to Edinburgh and Glasgow, saying it with a Geordie accent. So, and this takes. I used to teach English, and actually, because I'm from the north of England, I pronounce my vowels slightly different. And I remember teaching some kids to speak English, and actually, one of the teachers from the school coming in and laughing her head off because all the kids were pronouncing all these words with a Geordie accent. So,
Can you just say the vowels for me?
A-E-I-O-U. No, you know what you're going to say. There's a comedian called Michael McIntyre who does a very, very, very good sketch about the Geordie accent and how we say and ear for all our vowels. But anyway, we'll link to that in the show notes because it is funny. That's why I was laughing. But anyway, we're just going to talk about so accents and pronunciation we get can be difficult and challenging. Now let's talk about food, one of my favourite topics.
Oh, I love Scottish food. I have to say, particularly a Scottish breakfast. Usually at the Elder York Guest House. If you're listening, Murray, thank you very much. You do the best.
Yeah, he does. Now, so this is a mistake we see. It's not trying traditional Scottish food. Honestly, haggis, neeps and tatties, try it. It's amazing. It's amazing how many people we've kind of encouraged and they've got back to us and said, we went to Mecca's Mash Bar and we loved it. We loved the haggis. And honestly, it's worth trying it. Full Scottish breakfast, as Doug said. So what's slightly different? What is different from an English breakfast? What are you going to get different?
We're going to get a potato cake, which is delicious.
Yeah, so tatty scones.
And some haggis.
Yeah, haggis. What about lawn sausage?
Oh, yes, the flat sausage. That's very tasty.
Yes, that's square sausage, square flat sausage. You'll usually also get black pudding, haggis, baked beans, fried mushrooms, toast, the usual things. Yeah. I've also had, and I've got to try and think what it was, like oats.
Yes, we did. In Inverness, we had that, yes.
Yeah, which was really tasty. So if you're staying in a B&B, and obviously some of the hotels as well.
Tried at least once.
Well, try it. Try haggis. Now, there are some more controversial foods that you can have in Scotland, as in the deep fried Mars bar that is quite famous.
I have tried that many years ago. It doesn't work for me.
No, I avoided it. We actually have a photo of a place in Edinburgh because we stayed in Edinburgh for 6 weeks this year, and we were so tempted, and I was like, oh no, I
tried it once. It's not for me.
And of course, Doug's your favourite drink when you're in Scotland.
Oh, I'm brew. I live on them when I'm up there.
Yeah.
It's I even cut down on the tea, which is something else for me. But iron brew, I do really, really enjoy.
I like the colour.
Yeah, the colour's good.
Because it's bright orange.
Yeah.
It's a very lovely colour. It's very popular. Do try iron brew when you're in Scotland.
Yeah, and they do a sugar-free version as well, which I also like.
And let us know if you've tried any of these foods. I want to know what you liked and what you didn't like. What was your favourite? And we've heard iron brew is really popular.
It's quite right. It's delicious.
Yeah, oh no, you've got me talking about food, and I want to go back and have some of the haggis, snoops, and tatties. It's my favourite. It's so good. So by the time this episode comes out, Doug will actually potentially be in Scotland. So I'm going to get some photos of him trying some of these delicious. We'll get some photos of you, maybe with a deep fried Mars bar. I know I'm daring you. No, I'm daring you. But by the time this episode comes out, I want to have a photo of you with a deep fried Mars bar.
Oh, right. Okay.
Check that out in the show notes.
As long as I can have a breakfast as well early in the morning.
You can definitely have one. Okay, shall we move on to the final tip and I guess we've kind of alluded to it throughout this whole episode, is not allowing time to slow down and enjoy Scotland. So trying to just tick off too many sites without really time to relax in a pub, chat with locals, soak up with the atmosphere, just enjoy being in Scotland.
Oh, most definitely. It is such a great country to visit. There's something for everybody, really, but just embrace the whole experience.
Yeah, I love Scotland. I have to say, if it was warmer, I'd live there.
You've said that before, haven't you?
I've said that numerous times. I do love Scotland, and I guess that there's the draw there all the time to go.
You've often said you feel an affinity with Scotland, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely, and I do. It's I've travelled to 60 odd countries around the world, and Scotland will be in the first handful, without a doubt. It has so much to offer. So do go, do enjoy it, do try to get outside of Edinburgh, outside of Skye, outside of Loch Ness, because those are 3 places that everybody seems to want to go to. You know, they're lovely places, I'm not getting you wrong, but do try and see more. There's so much culture, so much history, so much to see and do.
Yeah, that's right. The history is long and I want to say complex. That makes it sound very, very stuffy, but it isn't. You know, there is a great amount of history there.
Yeah,
the relationship with the English particularly.
Definitely. So in a nutshell, get your timing right, plan your itinerary carefully, don't underestimate distances or logistics, and be mindful of Scotland's unique culture. Do that and you'll avoid the most common mistakes and have a fantastic trip. Don't forget, we've got loads of resources on our website, plenty of other podcast episodes to help you plan, including our London, UK road trip and UK train travel mistakes episodes. You'll find all the links waiting for you in the show notes at uktravelplanning.com/episode 169. So I guess we just have to say thank you to everybody for listening.
Thank you very much. Yes.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving us a review on your favourite podcast app. It really helps others find the show. But until next time, from both Doug and me, happy UK travel planning. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. As always, show notes can be found at uktravelplanning.com. If you've enjoyed the show, why not leave us feedback via text or a review on your favourite podcast app? We love to hear from you, and you never know, you may receive a shout out in a future episode. But as always, that just leaves me to say, until next week, happy UK travel planning.